Listen, if you're old enough to remember the 1980s, was that like your time? Were you like a teenager or were you in your 20s like I was? I was in my 20s in the 1980s. It was a great, great time. It was also a great time to earn money very quickly doing the following. Hi, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever. I mixed it up. This is Jan. Welcome to another episode on this channel, the Save Money More Jan channel. Let's talk about the fastest way that I earned extra cash back in the day. Lots of people, they don't realize doing hands-on work, practical work like that's needed like yesterday. Okay, there are a couple of things that never go out of style in the necessity department. It only takes the person that's willing to roll up their sleeves and do it. Now, in my case, I was also a full time teacher. Okay. So I was not available from the hours of between, let's say, 8 a.m. and 3 p.m. Okay. I extended it even though dismissal was about 2:30, but I would stick around, do a couple of things, and then head on over to do everything else that I would do, visit my mom, then go back home. Of course, and I had my daughter with me who attended the same school. So I was busy during the school year, but as a teacher, I was also afforded, and I consider it really a luxury, of having the summer off. Okay. And it was a paid summer off. Yes, it was. And I took that as a golden goose opportunity to double my bang for my buck, meaning the extra time. So let's say the daughter was at camp or with friends or family or whatever, that would be my time to make sure that I zoomed in and made money. It was a very fast track to do it. So, what I would do, and I mentioned it in other videos, I took like a temporary job sometimes. I would take a temporary position, and one of them was in a cosmetic packaging plant. I was not the happiest there. I was not the saddest there, but I knew that was not my permanent job. I knew I was going back to what I really loved to do, but I was making money. So I was doubling the money and the amount of time. So not only was I getting the teacher's check, but I was bringing an income from that. But the fastest, let's talk about fast. The other way was like a regular job, and in my case, we got paid. Looking back, I think it was back in the old days. It was weekly, which was like except for teaching. Teaching was twice a month, which I dreaded that. The first and the 15th, I was like, excuse me, no, let me get it right. The 15th and the 30th. Okay, that was the schedule. The 15th and the 30th, and believe me, that's very inconvenient, very not nice. So when I was getting the weekly pay, I was like, huh, that is so simple a budget. Who can't budget a weekly paycheck? Tell me out there. Would you rather get paid weekly, every 2 weeks, or once a month, or a couple times a month? Let me know your favorite way to get paid if you've ever gotten paid like that. Weekly, every 2 weeks, or the 15th and the 30th. God bless you if you do. You can manage things very well. Uh, and because what happens was if the 30th occurred on a different day, you had to wait. Like if the 30th was on, let's say, a Monday and it was the Friday before the 30th, and a lot of people are very broke on that Friday if they're not managing their money well. It's a mess. But let's go back to the fast tracking, the fastest way that me, myself, and I earned extra cash. It was doing childcare and cleaning gigs. Cleaning gigs. These two jobs never go out of style. They will never go away. I don't care what the trend is. Now, let's think about this for a second. Let's think carefully. Okay. We are in the year 2025. Now, I was doing those tasks I chose to during the summertime. In fact, I used to take my daughter with me along to some of those tasks, okay? Those little gigs. And they were like, the folks were like, no problem. Hey, that's great. I didn't pay for childcare. I was helping with childcare and earning money from childcare. I like to turn things around that way. I've done that several times with several things. So back in the 1980s, people needed childcare. Do you think that stopped once I stopped providing childcare? Back in the 1980s, people needed cleaning people to clean their home or apartment. Do you think that stopped back in the 1980s after I left? No. So let's fast forward. 80s went by, 90s, people still needed childcare and cleaning. 2000, people still needed childcare and cleaning. 2010, 2020, we're now at 2025. Do people still need childcare and cleaning? Yes. Do you think it will ever stop? No. Like sometimes people get a little confused about what business direction to go in. I always think about the choices we have of things that will never, ever go out of style. Okay? You could make a few bucks shopping for someone. Sometimes people rather work with a person they know instead of going through those electronic choices to shop with, right? Still, that still works. For some people, that still works. Some people prepare home cooked meals for those that perhaps can't stand long at their stove or whatever, just don't like cooking that much. And there are people out there who are willing to pay a cook. Okay. You know, anybody could be a cook. Okay. Not everybody could be a chef. Okay. There's a big difference. So if you're just a person that likes to cook from home and does a good job at it, okay, and people know you, that's something you two could discuss. I don't know how it works with each individual state. Look into it. There are practical ways. Don't people need to eat? Yes. Other jobs that will never go away, and they're pretty fast too. There are people that, well, they just want to hire someone to do their laundry. They don't want them to clean their whole house. But can you come over and pick up my laundry and do the laundry? You could get a laundry service to do that. What's a laundry service? A business smart enough to recognize that people's clothing still get dirty. They still get dirty. Dirty clothes, unfortunately, there'll always be dirty clothes. And dirty clothes will always be there. However, in the business arena, dirty clothes will always exist. They'll always exist. People want to stay clean. People want to have their children cared for in a good manner with proper supervision, trustworthiness, and all the good stuff that goes with it, and the good responsibilities there. But on the other hand, people want those businesses, but are you available? Are you willing to roll up your sleeves? Some people are meant for practical on hands jobs. Some people are better off, let's say just manning, I don't know, computer software. Everybody has their own unique talents. Some people could get behind a microphone and entertain people. Everybody is different. Some people like to give news. Some people like to teach. Some people like to give messages. Everybody's different. But back in the 1980s, I took advantage. See, here's how it works. If you want to earn, and I mean like pretty quickly, money, you could be willing enough. Here's the trick though. You got to be willing to move and work around if you're able bodied and you could do it. That means you don't mind rolling up your sleeves and once in a while getting your hands a little dirty. I'm not even kidding you. But I could tell you this much, that is the fastest way. The fastest way in a practical manner to do something. You don't have to wait weeks and weeks and weeks and maybe this will work and maybe that'll work. No, because you're the one doing the immediate work that is immediately necessary. For example, you could put yourself out there to work per diem, which means per day. Work for the day. This is my day job for today and only today. And after the day job is done, thank you very much, and you get paid for it. Or however arrangement you work out. Some people get paid up front, some people get paid after it. Okay. It all depends on what you choose. I chose, and I thought looking back, that was a pretty smart business decision. I was only in my 20s. I decided there wasn't that much information out there, by the way, about working from home. It was just starting to emerge. So I declared myself at that point as I'm going to do these extra things during the summertime, during in between the teaching back in the day, the 1980s. You could do it too. There's no reason to struggle. There's no reason to struggle. The opportunities are there. And if you wait for circumstances to change around you, good luck with that. Good luck with that. We have to make our own circumstances change. We are responsible for what we do. If we never ever forget that point and stop saying, "Oh, woe is me, poor me," that's a huge mistake. That's really a huge mistake. So, if you're looking for the fastest way to make money, practical jobs that you're willing to do, capable of doing, and sometimes you get to enjoy what you do. Sometimes you just do it because you really like to put extra food on the table, not just food on the table. Anybody could go out there and buy a filling bag of potatoes and some other ingredients. We're talking about maybe you want to stash that second freezer that you have in your basement. Maybe you want to stock it up with tons of meat. You see where I'm going with this. It's not just good enough to be status quo. If we can only teach ourselves that it's okay to go on to the next level, that's where a lot of people, in my opinion, make a mistake. They're as some Italians say, bella contenta. They're very content, bella contenta. And I might be mispronouncing it. So, I'm just listening to the Italian version my parents said. I remember them saying bella contenta a lot. They were content with something. Okay, although my parents spoke English, but they took some broken Italian from my grandparents. Okay, so here I am, all these generations later. I hope I'm saying it right. They were perfectly content. Like some people are perfectly content. You could be perfectly content with status quo. I'm not saying that you can't, and I think that could be part of the problem. I don't need more than that. There's going to be a point where you are totally comfortable and you're like, okay, I'm done. I don't need and all that. But if you're just scraping by, and you're okay with just scraping by, that's when I'm glad that I looked back in the day. I was like, no, okay, I met the quota here, status quo. I want better than that. I just think that if people thought that way, I think people would feel a lot better about things. But we could talk all about that on a future show. But I wanted to let you know my fast track that summer. That summer, I took on a position, took a temporary job. And in between that, on weekends or days off or hours off, I would start child caring. I would do anything. I was so willing. I didn't mind cleaning gigs once in a while. I used to do a cleaning business at one time when I wasn't, before the teaching and all that. I fell back on things that I knew what to do. So I know I've been blathering. So anyway, when I get to the blathering point, I know I need to stop. In the meantime, thank you so much for being here. I hope by now that you smashed down the like button. Can't tell you how much that's important for this channel to grow. I really can't. I know you can do it. Everybody could do it, but especially you guys can do it because you care enough to listen about improving your lives and making more money and all the good stuff. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you.